Tonight, when you go to bed, I want you to do something. Just lie there and listen. Really listen. You will hear a fan, a car passing outside, maybe a phone buzzing in another room, a refrigerator humming, an air conditioner, a neighbor's TV. And if you live in a city, you will hear something that never fully stops. Ever. Now here's the question nobody asks. When was the last time you heard absolutely nothing? Not quiet, not peaceful, nothing. Complete, total silence. For 290,000 years, every single human being who ever lived fell asleep to exactly that. No engines, no electricity, no screens, no notifications. Just the sound of wind or crickets or the last ember of a fire slowly fading. And then, nothing. Researchers studying the effect of silence on the human brain have found something that should genuinely concern you. Your brain was not designed for constant noise. It was built over 290,000 years around the expectation of silence. And in the last 100 years, we took that silence away completely. What has happened to our brains since then is something most people never connect to the noise around them. Until now.
Part 1. The Silence.
Ancient humans lived in. To understand what we lost, you first have to understand what ancient humans actually heard, or more precisely, what they did not hear. For nearly all of human history, the world after dark was almost completely silent. No artificial sound of any kind. Researchers studying noise levels in remote areas, far from any human settlement, found that natural nighttime environments register at around 20 to 30 decibels. That is quieter than a whisper. The average modern bedroom, even in a so-called quiet neighborhood, registers between 40 and 50 decibels. That is the difference between near total silence and the equivalent of a constant low conversation happening in your room every single night while you try to sleep. And in cities, that number goes up to 60, 70, sometimes higher. Ancient humans did not just sleep in quiet rooms. They slept in a silence so complete that most modern humans have never once experienced it in their entire lives. Not once. Part 2. What silence does to the brain. Now here is where the science gets genuinely fascinating. In 2013, neuroscientist Imke Kirste at Duke University was studying the effects of sound on the brain. She was actually studying music. But to create a control condition, she exposed mice to periods of complete silence, 2 hours at a time. What she found was not what she expected. During those silent periods, the mice began developing new cells in the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory, learning, and emotional regulation. Silence was not just the absence of something. It was actively doing something. Silence was triggering brain growth. Other researchers began looking at what happens when silence is removed entirely. Studies on people living near airports or in high-traffic urban areas found measurably higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, even during sleep. Even when people reported they had slept well, their bodies told a different story. Their brains were never fully resting because their brains were never fully quiet. For 290,000 years, the brain had silence built into every night. It used that silence to process, to repair, to grow. We removed it and told ourselves we could not even notice the difference. Part 3. What constant noise is doing to us. The World Health Organization released a report on environmental noise, calling it the second largest environmental health risk in Europe after air pollution. Second largest, above contaminated water, above poor diet. Chronic noise exposure has been linked to increased risk of heart disease, higher rates of anxiety and depression, impaired cognitive development in children, and measurably reduced sleep quality, even in people who believe they sleep fine. But here is the part that connects everything. Ancient humans were not just lucky to have silence. Their brains evolved, expecting it. The nightly silence was not a luxury. It was maintenance. The same way your body needs food and water, your brain needed silence to reset every single night. For 290,000 years, it got exactly that. Then we invented engines, then electricity, then the radio, then the television, then the phone that never stops and never turns off and lives on the nightstand 3 feet from your sleeping head. And we called all of that progress. And it was. But somewhere in all of that progress, we stopped asking what we were replacing. Ancient humans did not know why silence was good for them. They did not have neuroscience. They did not have studies. They did not have the word cortisol. What they had was a world that went quiet every night without them having to do anything. The silence was just there, automatic, unavoidable, built into the rhythm of every day for 290,000 years. Today, for the first time in human history, silence requires effort. You have to find it, schedule it, protect it. Some people pay money to sit in soundproof rooms for the experience their ancestors got for free every single night without thinking about it. The brain your ancestors built over hundreds of thousands of years still expects that silence, still waits for it, still tries to do what it was always designed to do in the quiet hours after the fire goes out. Maybe the most powerful thing you could do for your brain tonight is give it the one thing it has been waiting for your entire life. Nothing. Just nothing.